Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. In today's episode, we're looking at Israel with Palestinian militants and Hamas, in other words, terrorists, attacking Israel about 48 hours ago. There's an awesome clip here from the Wall Street Journal that gives us a timeline of what exactly took place and what exactly happened. After this clip here, we're going to make the connection of how Iran backed Hamas, a terrorist organization, to attack Israel. After that, we're going to build a case here of how Joe Biden virtually armed the Iranians. A lot of information today. This is an episode you are not going to want to miss. Hit that like and subscribe button. Leave us a comment down below, as well as share this video link with your friends and family all over social media. Without further ado, let's roll it.
Palestinian militants from the armed group Hamas launched a surprise coordinated attack on Israel by land, sea, and air on Saturday morning. With hundreds killed, the attack is the largest and deadliest in years and prompted an Israeli declaration of war. Here's how it unfolded. At around 6:30 a.m., the attack began with a barrage of rockets. Shortly after the first reports of rocket fire,
Is that like a barrage of rockets? I mean, they launched like 7,000 rockets. So this video doesn't do full justice, but like I said, it does a pretty good job.
Hamas fighters entered Israel near the Kerem Shalom crossing, an important checkpoint between Israel and Gaza. The video released by Hamas shows its fighters breaching the border fence and attacking the military base there. Around the same time, Hamas fighters also raided and captured Israel's Erez border crossing station. Targeting checkpoints like these enabled Hamas to neutralize clusters of Israeli forces and spread into nearby towns with less resistance. By 7:30 a.m., Israelis began seeing groups of Palestinian militants arriving in towns and cities. The incursion fanned out into 9 towns near the border with Gaza. In the city of Sderot, Palestinian militants clashed in the streets with Israeli police and military. By late morning, Palestinian militants began destroying sections of the border barrier.
I just want to emphasize this. This is Palestinian militants and Hamas, terrorists, attacking Israel. If you're attacking someone, the people of which you're attacking have every right to give you the full force they have right back at you. And this goes whether you're pro-Palestinian, pro-Israel. I so happen to be pro-Israel, but it doesn't matter. If Israel did this to Palestine or the Palestinians, then the Palestinians have every right to go after Israel. It goes hand in hand with me. So if you punch somebody in the face, you should get punched back. I know we're supposed to turn the cheek and everything as Christians, but here, if you're attacking another nation, whether you think Israel's a nation or not, I so happen to believe Israel is its own nation, own country. They have every right to give you the full force. You F around, you're going to find out. And boy, oh boy, are they going to find out.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
What started as a small penetration of the Israeli border became a wide-open corridor.
Allahu Akbar!
Soon, Palestinian militants began taking hostages in towns near the border with Gaza. Many hostages were taken back to Gaza and driven through the streets.
See, this is what I don't like in terms of how some of our reporting is done. Oh, they took hostages and they were driven through the streets. Like, you're supposed to narrate the video. They're literally beating the crap out of these hostages, spitting on them. In some places, they're stabbing them, which you could see all over Twitter right now. Elon Musk has done a fabulous job of basically opening up Twitter to the world to show the grievances that's happening in some of these areas around the world. So there's none of this like sensitive content anymore on X, or in other words, Twitter. You are going to see hostages dead. You're going to see people dead in the streets of Israel. You're going to see Hamas and these Palestinian militants shooting hostages, and they're now bleeding everywhere in the backs of these trucks and Jeeps and stuff. So this is being sugarcoated slightly, but again, we're here for the timeline and exactly what's going on. Look at these crazy people, man.
By the afternoon, at least 200 Israelis were killed and more than 1,000 injured, mainly civilians. Israeli jets launched retaliatory strikes in Gaza, killing and injuring similar numbers of Palestinians. Hamas said their attacks were only the beginning of a long war.
Look, I understand there's a back and forth. I am biased towards Israel. I'm being very clear on my bias. But the thing is that regardless of what side you're on, you attack another side, you have the full force of what's going after. People go, how could you say that? It's just giving you an example. You can use Mexico, Canada, it doesn't matter. Whoever attacks the United States is going to get the full force of our military on them. If Mexico sat there and ran roughshod over one of our states or did some sort of attack like this on one of our states, do you think we're just going to let it go? Or do you think there's going to be some retaliation bigly that's happening? And we'll get into all of that in just one moment. But there was a lot of talk about how Joe Biden gave the Iranians $6 billion. Yes, with a B. People that chant death to America in their government. They hold actual parades in their streets with death to America. They don't like us. They want to wipe us off the face of the earth. This is not a Republican Democrat thing. These people want to harm you. I can't get that clear enough. We live life so good here in the United States that we forget that there's actual evil out there that wants to destroy you. I can't be any more clear on my words. And you just had a sitting president give the Iranians, people that want to build nuclear warheads and wipe you off the face of this earth, $6 billion. Are you insane? Not you as the viewer, Joe Biden, the Democrat Party. Are you bleeping insane? But should we expect anything different after Barack Obama gave them $1 billion and was lax on their nuclear warhead program? It's amazing how everything Joe Biden said Trump would do and happen under the Trump administration if he were reelected is now happening under Biden. And you still have Biden winning in the polls, you guys. I'm pro-Trump. Biden is winning. There's like 49% of the country that thinks this guy's doing a fabulous job of running the show. You have Iran getting $6 billion, funding terrorist organizations that now just attacked Israel. So now you got no peace in the Middle East when we had that under Donald Trump. You have China wanting to invade Taiwan. That's literally like 100 miles off the coast, like 200 miles off the coast with a massive navy. You have the economy that sucks. You have Russia invading Ukraine. We didn't have any of this. There was nothing going on other than China releasing COVID-19 upon everybody. And then the Democrats cover that one up. It's misinformation. It's disinformation. So Hamas has actually confirmed it received support from Iran for terror attacks on Israel. So in my opinion, Iran should see something happen to them as well. It's amazing how these countries just have the balls to sit there and poke the bear. If you guys want an example of somebody poking the bear before, look at Iraq with the Gulf War. And we wiped Iraq, that was the third largest military in the world. We wiped them out in a week. And that was being generous. It's like playing with your food. So Hamas, a Palestinian Islamic terrorist organization, damn right, has confirmed that it received support from its recent surprise attacks on Israel from the Islamic Republic of Iran, the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism. And who did Joe Biden give I'm trying so hard not to cuss right now, $6 billion to? The world's leading state sponsor of terrorism. Joe Biden and the Democrat Party gave terrorists $6 billion. Now, what do you think they're going to do with it? The dude has open borders, allowing terrorists to cross into our country. There are sleeper cells in our country right now. And by the way, DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said, oh, we don't know where some of them are. I might know. I'm not 100% sure. That's what he said to Congress. He literally said it to Jim Jordan in Congress when on Brett Breyer's show of Fox News that still had no effing idea where they were. I'm sorry, you guys, but this is not a Republican-Democrat thing, which is why I'm pissed, because Republicans are going to be harmed, independents are going to be harmed, Green Party members are going to be harmed, Democrats are going to be harmed. We're all Americans here. And you got an old guy in office that thought it was a good idea to give terrorists $6 billion, and now you're seeing the ramifications of it. A spokesperson for the terror group told BBC that it received support from Iran and others, although he declined to say who else provided support. In Iran, people flocked to the streets to celebrate the deadly attacks. Yes, they parade about this stuff, which killed hundreds of Israelis and wounded thousands more, shooting off fireworks, waving flags, and cheering according to numerous images posted online. This is a nation that wants to see Western civilization evaporated. Whether it's Israel or America, they don't want to see you exist. I know I'm repeating myself. If there's any Democrats here, you should be siding with us. This is not a good thing here. These are people that are our enemy. Iran is our enemy. They are not our friends. They're not your friends. At the end of the day, when bleep hits the fan, we're all Americans. This country doesn't like you. They don't like Israel. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson said, what took place today is in line with the continuation of victories for the anti-Zionist resistance in different fields, including Syria, Lebanon, and occupied lands. Iranian Supreme Leader posted on social media saying, God willing, the cancer of the Zionist regime will be eradicated at the hands of the Palestinian people and the resistance forces throughout the region. You notice he said Palestinian people. He didn't say Palestinian militants. It's so wild. And you know what? Mark Levin, and I'm going to play the whole damn thing, has a fabulous video of how Biden is largely responsible for arming the Iranians. Listen to this, folks. Grab a cup of coffee because Mark here nails it.
I want to point out a couple of things to you. I said I'm going to get some things off my chest, and I am. Trump killed Soleimani, the head Nazi, really, of the Iranian military. Trump was destroying the Iranian economy with brutal sanctions. The Iranians were rising up. They don't like that government. They don't like the Nazi government in Tehran. And they're now being mowed down, slaughtered, raped, imprisoned, God knows what, because of our current policies. Trump was Israel's greatest friend in the Oval Office ever. Can that be said of Obama or Biden? No. Biden reversed everything. Biden rebuilt the Iranian war machine. I'll prove it in a minute.
He didn't just rebuild it. That is such an understatement by Mark. Again, I love Mark. You guys, it was like 6x to 10x built up the Iranian regime. It is such an understatement what Joe Biden has done. There's almost words to not describe what he just did.
I'm sure the reporters and others getting information from the Biden Pentagon and White House won't tell you this. No. I'll tell you this. Biden rebuilt the Palestinian war machine. They were all on their heels. That's why there wasn't a war when Donald Trump was president between the Nazi terrorists and the Iranian Nazi regime and the Israelis. And the Israelis today are paying with their lives. I told you, I'm not candy coating a damn thing around here.
For those that are listening on audio, because we do a video and then an audio version as well, it's an entire podcast. Mark is so pissed here. You can't see this, but his hands are shaking. He's that mad. And normally, Mark could be pretty level-headed. He's kind of just usually a demeanor. He's pissed, man. He is irate about this.
And I'm not going to. Now, what do I mean that Biden rebuilt the Iranian war machine?
Shaking. He's so mad.
Well, the $6 billion is in this account, and it'll be that account. Okay, forget about the $6 billion. Although the idea that a president of the United States would give $6 billion, or allowed to be given, to the Iranian regime that threatens the United States of America, that's unleashing holy Nazi-like hell on the Jewish people in Israel, and is threatening to get nukes, that's insane in and of itself.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Oh, God, what a breath of fresh air. What a breath of fresh air. Somebody actually level-headed that goes, and by the way, he kind of sugarcoated it there. Okay. The world's leading sponsor of terrorism was just given $6 billion by the Democrats. And that guy on the screen named Joe Biden that still people are going to vote for. It's so insane. I'm frustrated because it is so insane that you literally have a guy in office that just gave terrorists $6 billion. And we have half the country that's like, nah, not a big deal. Not a big deal. It's like, what the hell?
Iran's illicit oil exports hit 5-year high. Free Beacon, Adam Cradle. How is that possible? We have sanctions on their oil. How is that possible? Trump put sanctions in there. Well, Biden didn't exactly lift them, but he's not enforcing them. Listen to this. Iranian oil exports, a principal source of income for Tehran's cash-strapped regime, increased by 35% from 2021 to 2022. Gee, who was president then? Indicating that the Biden administration is not enforcing sanctions meant to prevent these sales. Oh, there's more. Get ready. I bet you haven't heard this all day. Amid this uptick in Iranian aggression, the Biden administration has failed to enforce sanctions on Tehran's oil trade, which benefits China, Syria, Venezuela. Iranian oil sales stood at $44 billion as of August 2022, a 77% increase from Trump's last year in office, with analysis attributing the rise to President Biden's, quote, terminally lax sanctions enforcement. Although the Biden administration has been armed with the intelligence information to seize at least 6 illicit Iranian oil ships in recent months, it has detained 1 ship in the past year, likely to appease Tehran amid diplomatic talks to restart the 2015 nuclear deal. Biden has also provided sanction waivers, permitting Iran access to $10 billion that was frozen in Iraq. Oh, but that's $6 billion in that account and that account. Biden is funding Iran and rebuilt their damn military after Trump had it on its back. Let's be honest. Now, the fact is that sanctions relief to Iran is fungible. And Iran has been using these resources to go from, listen to this, America, this affects us, 2% enriched uranium and not installing advanced centrifuges under the Trump administration to racing towards nuclear weapons under Biden, becoming a nuclear threshold state enriching more than 60% enriched uranium, 2% to 60%. Can you imagine if the Iranian Tehran Nazi regime had nuclear weapons today? Because that's what's coming.
See, they don't, Mark. We have to understand this, you guys. Life has been so peaceful, in a nutshell, for Americans for decades that we don't understand. People don't understand evil, right? Because everything's censored on the internet nowadays. Oh, you can't show somebody cussing. Oh, it's graphic content. Somebody got a boo-boo. We don't understand, Mark, the sheer evil that's out there in the world because things have been so peaceful in the United States for so long.
And then Biden has secret negotiations with the Iranians. Congress can't even get access to the information other than 8 or so people. They keep saying, what are you negotiating? We need to know what's going on. And they keep pushing them away, pushing them away. I don't have to tell you anything, the administration tells Congress. Then they pick exactly the wrong guy, this guy named Malloy, to negotiate, who's sympathetic with the Iranians. And now, of course, he doesn't even have a classified clearance. Clearance. What's that all about? I'm just getting started. Biden reverses Trump policy on aid to Palestinians. Fox News fails to condemn recent terror wave against Israel. Our enemies see all this. They see appeasement. Am I not supposed to talk about Biden and appeasement? Was Churchill not supposed to talk about appeasement? Oh, Mark, you're being political. No, I'm telling you the truth. President Biden reaffirmed his commitment to a 2-state solution. You know what a 2-state solution is for Israel? It's the final solution. Look, that's just Gaza. You're going to have 2 states? What are they going to have, an air force? Are they going to have missile silos? What's this second state going to look like?
He's dead on here. There is not going to be a second state. Israel is surrounded by enemies. All those people that surround Israel want to wipe it off the face of this earth. And I'm not sugarcoating that. When I say wipe off the face of the earth, I mean gone, obliterated. Never going to cease to exist anymore. Won't see it rebuilt. That's what is going to happen. And, these people that are pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, whatever it is, pro-Iranian, whatever they want to call themselves, whatever. Even if you're not pro-Israel, that's what they want. Okay? They're lying to you. Just ask them one simple question. Is Hamas a terrorist organization? They won't say this. Yes, Hamas is a terrorist organization. They won't say that. Would you say Palestinian militants are terrorists? They won't say that. That tells you everything you need to know right there.
And announced plans to bolster U.S. financial aid to the Palestinian people, reversing multiple policies implemented by, that horrible Donald Trump. During his comments, the president touched upon his administration's plans to implement a series of economic and confidence-building measures aimed at improving daily life for Palestinian people living in the West Bank, Gaza, but he stopped short of condemning Palestinian terrorism. Gee willikers. The president also said the U.S. would increase financial contributions to the controversial UN agency, UNRWA, that supports and advocates for Palestinian refugees, adding another $200 million to its budget to become the largest donor country. You see, the Palestinians want the refugees. They want their people poor because the head of the Palestinian regimes, whether it's the authority, whether it's Hamas, they ruin their people.
If you guys want to correlate what Mark here is saying to kind of our history, equate the KKK with Hamas. And the KKK basically leading the Democrat Party, and the Democrat Party leads Congress. So think of like Congress today being a majority rule of KKK members. Except in the Palestinian side, it's Hamas, a terrorist organization, having rule over their government and their people. That's kind of basically, if we were to do an analogy here of what Mark is saying. And the KKK is pure evil, 100% agree. Terrorists are extremely evil as well, as you're seeing what's happening right now in Israel.
You basically have mobster-type Nazi thugs running everything. All the money comes through them. They divide their economies up. They have relatives. They have consigliaries that run everything. But look at this one, Newsweek. Biden's Teror Force betrayal. What's that all about? Joe Biden's recent gift of $235 million, oh, he's pouring the money out, in aid to the Palestinians violates the spirit of the Teror Force Act. It betrays the memory of Teror Force himself. Who was he? He was a West Point graduate, U.S. Army veteran, and graduate student at Vanderbilt University. He was 28 years old when he was murdered in Israel by a Palestinian terrorist named Bashar Maha on March 8, 2016. Maha wounded 10 others in his attack before being killed by the Israeli police. His family immediately attained celebrity status. Oh, under Abbas, that's the Palestinian Authority, the good ones, Celebrity status. And you know what they awarded him? They awarded his parents a big pension. Much of it paid with our tax dollars. So Congress said that's enough. So did President Trump. 2 years later, the Teror Force Act was signed into law, ending all future aid to the Palestinian Authority unless and until the practice of rewarding terrorists and their families through the Martyrs Fund is ended. They didn't end it. So Trump put an end to it. And guess what? Joe Biden is ignoring the Teror Force Act. And so the money continues to flow. The new funding was just one part of Biden's apparent plan to reverse all of Donald Trump's Palestinian-related policies. And then look at this. Just the other day, New York Times. Democrats tell Biden Saudi-Israel pact needs concessions for Palestinians. Here's Israel and the Saudi crown prince, this close to a peace deal. And Biden interrupts and says, not so fast. We need concessions to the Palestinians. Democrats, 20 Democrat senators signed a letter. No. No deal until there's more concessions to the Palestinians. Folks, I'm about sick and tired of candy coating all this stuff. Let me cut to the chase. The Biden administration has helped arm up the Iranian regime help to arm up Hamas, which gets support from the Iranian regime, help to arm up Hezbollah, which gets support from the Iranian regime, and all the rest of it. And Joe Biden, in large measure, is responsible for it. And 1.5 years to go with this administration. We can only pray to God that the Iranian regime doesn't have nuclear weapons until this man can be removed from office, God willing.
Hey,
You guys, Mark really did nail it perfectly on all of that. And that's exactly what's going on with Iran funding all these terrorist organizations, which is why I'm repeating myself that they're the leading sponsor of terrorism, and Joe Biden keeps giving them millions and billions of dollars. You think what Ukraine's getting is a lot? It is. It's head spinning. But the money, that's your hard-earned money. Bro, you are paying terrorists. Let that one sink in. Yeah. And Democrats are eating it up. I'm trying my best. I always try to think, okay, like what's the other side? Like what's the logic there on the other side of the aisle? Well, we got hostages back, 6 people. Do you know how many people are going to die with the money that you just gave a terrorist organization? Well, I'm going to leave you with this, you guys. The Prime Minister of Israel warned Palestinians that they needed to immediately leave Gaza because the Israeli Defense Force was preparing to turn it into rubble. Meaning you F around, you're about to find out. And this goes both ways, by the way. Again, just because I'm pro-Israel doesn't mean that Israel has the right to do terrible things. But when you do terrible things to one country, like attack them and take their citizens as hostages, kill innocent civilians, you just open the floodgates for the same thing to happen to you. And Hamas is known to barricade with civilians. What do I mean by that? Is what will happen is, and this has happened many of times, is Hamas will attack Israel. Israel wants to retaliate. So Israel sees that Hamas is on the roof and inside the rooms of a hospital building. And they're utilizing it because they're freaking cowards as a shelter because they know there's civilians in there. And if Israel was supposed to do something, then there's going to be civilian casualties because these terrorists, these Palestinian militants as well, are using Palestinian civilians as shields. So that's what's going on. And so the Prime Minister goes, fine, we'll give you 48 hours. Give the leaflets down. If you stay there, you know what's coming. The dude's warning that you're about to be flattened. You F around, you're going to find out. The sad thing is, there's going to be civilians that are thinking, I'm going to stay in Gaza. If somebody were to drop leaflets and make a public announcement, like the Prime Minister of Israel said, going, hey, we're basically going to destroy Los Angeles. This is not even comparable. It's like a neighborhood, Gaza Strip. You want to get out. I'm giving you 40 hours to pack your bleep and go somewhere else so that when I flatten this place to rubble, you don't die. If you decide to stay, not a wise decision. The warning from Israel's prime minister came after Palestinian terrorists murdered hundreds of Israeli civilians in rocket attacks and shooting throughout Israel on Saturday. Now, here's the thing. What I've seen, and if anybody is, say, pro-Palestinian or anti-Israel, whatever, do you think Hamas is a terrorist organization, yes or no? None of this like, oh, well, Israel's a terrorist organization as well. No. All I want to hear from you is the Palestinian militants, Hamas, a terrorist organization? The answer, like we've learned in elementary school and forward, would be no, Hamas is not a terrorist organization, or yes, Hamas is a terrorist organization. That's all I want to hear. I don't want to hear anything outside of that because they can't do it. And I've been doing this for years in the sense of asking people that are pro-Palestinian. And again, I got nothing against the Palestinian people. Just because I'm pro-Israel, I would love for them to both coincide and get along peacefully. But when your government is ran by terrorists on the Palestinian side of the aisle, that says a lot. In the same way, if the KKK was still running the Democrat Party like it used to, that would be a massive problem, and you would see me talking about that as well. So I'm going to leave it with that. But if you F around, you're going to find out. And I think Israel's kind of had enough with this of going, hey, it's the same thing every single year, every couple years. Now we're back to kicking the can down the road. And you know what? At some point, and it's easy for me to say this behind, a camera, at some point, you're just kind of like, just fight it out then. If we're going to be idiots, let's be idiots. If you can't get along, I mean, how many decades has it been in the Middle East here where these people just can't get it together? Like right now, people are saying the same thing about America, right? Oh, well, Democrats, Republicans are fighting head to head. We are. But at the end of the day, if you attack us, it's no longer us fighting with each other, Republicans and Democrats. We are going to unite as a family and destroy whoever's messing around with us. I think Israel's had enough of it. I wish they can get along. I feel bad for the Palestinian people there, the civilians that have terrorists in their lands. I would love to see that. I would love to see Israel and the Palestinians flourish together. That's the thing. And so I think a lot of people, when they hear my rhetoric or they hear my tone, they're like, oh, well, you're just against the Palestinian people. No, I'm not. I would love for them to just use the same holy sites together. Whatever you believe in terms of scriptures, just get along. You know what I mean? Well, the Israels won't let us get along. No. None of that. No. Oh, well, he said, she said stuff. The terrorists are ruining it for both sides, especially the Palestinians. And look, not all the people were Palestinian militants pouring across. Some of those were Palestinian civilians. So if Israel was to do this to Palestine, I would say, hey, Palestine, have at it. The Palestinian people, not Hamas. Hamas is a terrorist organization. If Israel attacked the Palestine or the Gaza Strip, whatever you want to call it, okay? Try and be simple here. Then Israel should be attacked back. That's not what took place the other day. So, as the people always say, yaff around, you're about to find out. And boy, oh boy, I think if he's serious, Netanyahu is serious, Gaza will be rubble by like tomorrow. I have a feeling Joe Biden's going to try to talk him down like it always happens, United States, But Joe Biden did say, hey, he supports Israel, which I think is kind of interesting after what he just did with Iran. It's so, I still, can you guys fathom that? Can you fathom? Can you fathom a party in our country giving terrorists your money? Oh, they can't use it. They can only use it for certain things. Like they care. Like they bleeping care. I'm so tired of this. Like, oh, they're good people. They'll listen to us. No, they won't. Stop it. Stop it with this nonsense and this irrational thinking. Stop thinking that people that want to kill you they care what you think. They don't. Stop it. Please stop. It's so stupid. Anyways, hell of a Sunday episode today, folks. We're going to keep you updated on what's going on. We'll definitely be back here tomorrow for a Bald Brad show tomorrow morning. We've been uploading at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That actually seems like a good show time for a lot of people. I think it meets in the middle. So I think we're going to continue the 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time in the morning. If you're not able to be with us live, hey, okay, folks, it's okay. It's recorded for a reason. Just watch it later. With that being said, head over to baldbrad.com. We got a lot of goodies over there for you. We do have a shop with merchandise. All the links to that is in the description below. We do have a book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. It's a great book. It's a fabulous book. It's up there. And actually, I think Amazon has a discount. Last time I saw or checked, it was like 30% off. I don't think if we put it anything any higher than 30% off, I think actually we lose money. So I don't think they'll put it greater than 30%. I don't know. Maybe they will, but get yourself a copy today while you can, while it's on discount. I don't have any control over that. With that being said, again, hit that like and subscribe button, hit that join tab, become a true American patriot today, folks. Leave us a comment down below, and I'll see you tomorrow here on The Bald Brad Show.